Welcome to the Scenic Route with me, Victoria Stewart. And today we have a beautiful guest, my friend Abigail Morrissey. She is a yoga teacher, a holistic nurse, registered nurse, a vital mind reset coach, postpartum doula, twerk therapist, and author. She's written a book called Shattered to Shine with an amazing journal that goes along with it. So, Abigail has done so many things that it's just like, just even describing you sounds like the Scenic Route, right? Like all the things. So Abigail and I have also, if you've listened to episode 2 with Diane, have also been friends since February 2023. We met through the Evidence of Magic, Emily Fletcher's mastermind. So we've been through it together. So, Abigail, do you want to introduce yourself?
I don't think I need to. Thank you, Victoria. So many things. And it's also funny, like, all these, like, labels and certifications we have. And then, like, I am also just a human trying to figure it out.
Yes. Well, that's the whole like premise of this show, is to share our different journeys, because we are all just humans, all just trying different things. And that's almost even, not even almost, it is the fun of it, right?
It is. Yeah. And I guess I would just say, yeah, I used to be someone who was not having fun, and now I'm really enjoying the fun of life.
Amazing. Amazing. So, as we're talking about the scenic route in our lives, like all the different twists and turns that we take, is there a path that in your mind when you were young or when you were growing up that seemed like the straight path, the road that you were following? Is there a path that you were following that you thought, okay, this is it, this is where my life is going?
Yes. I'm from a suburban area outside of New York City and was raised very Catholic. I went to an all-girls Catholic school, Catholic college, and I'm the oldest of 5. So I think I've always wanted to be a mom, and I know that I'm really good at it. But also I think there was like some ego shit in there. In that, like, I thought I was my sister's parent when I wasn't. And anyway, I went into nursing because I think that I thought, like, that's just what I was meant to do, just to, like, care for people. And I thought that was the only thing that I could do, was take care of people. And so even though I didn't grow up in the 1950s, like, I think I, like, went to college to get, like, my MRS, they say, right? Like, to get married and, like, have kids. And I think nursing, like, I wanted to be a mom. And so I went into nursing. Specifically, I wanted to be a midwife, because I loved mothering and just like that newborn mother connection. So I think that I thought, like, I'd go to college, become a nurse, and become a mom. And now being in my mid 30s and being single and not having children, it's just a totally different path than I thought I would be at. And I do love where I am. I've done so many incredible things, gotten to meet so many incredible people, and my life has just expanded, like, exponentially. I feel like every time I do something different, my world and, like, what I think is possible and I know is possible expands. And so I'm grateful for all of that. But I definitely thought, you know, that I would have 5 kids and be going to church and and then also, like, the idea, I went into nursing thinking that I would kind of look like a savior and I knew better, and that, like, people needed to come to Western medicine to heal, and that, like, doctors and nurses knew the body better. And that is not my experience of health and healing now. And so I think I also, when I, like, was younger, I thought I would be more, like, mainstream.
I'm curious just because that is such a interesting juxtaposition of where you thought you were going to where what you're exploring now. Was there something that happened in your life that feels like the thing that like jarred you out of that direction?
Oh my God, Victoria. I'm like, how much time do we have? Um, I feel like there were so many things, and one was the first I think was when I was a patient. So I broke my arm in 2015. And that
Hmm.
was the first time that I was lying in the patient bed, and it happened overnight. And I had a pretty severe break. I was told at 25 that I wouldn't be able to use my left arm again, and like kind of just like your shit out of luck. And I am very stubborn. I brag that I'm very stubborn. And that can be a gift sometimes because I just refuse to accept that. And that is what got me into exploring Eastern medicine and like the mind body spirit connection. I was doing everything that they told me to do. I was
Hmm.
taking the pain meds, I was doing physical therapy, and I was still in pain and was worse off. I was having panic attacks, I was depressed. Like I didn't understand how they like could manually fix my elbow. Like it was fixed physically. They put in rods and metal, but I felt broken. And so that's kind of what my
Yeah.
book is about, is that I've had this like awakening. And one of my teachers calls it like, it's actually like not the dark night of the soul. Like your soul, it's like the dark night of the ego. Cause like your soul is
Right.
like, woohoo, finally, like, yippee. And like your ego is like, ugh. And so I
Hmm.
just thought I knew everything. I was like, well, if you take this with this, or, like I thought it would all work. And like, it doesn't work like that. And so that was the first thing that kind of like, I would say like that was like a 180 that kind of like took me off that like mainstream highway that I was going on.
Hmm.
I just questioned medicine, and I questioned religion, spirituality, and just like really expanded what I knew healing to be. And I think that also started my connecting with my body in a different way.
Hmm.
I would say prior to that, you could have labeled me as like someone who didn't eat. So I was very controlling with my diet. Like you could say anorexia. Like I I didn't have a connection to my body. I also used drugs, mostly alcohol, to disassociate. So you could say I was an alcoholic. And because I was like functioning, because that that's it was like a social thing to like not
Hmm.
eat and to drink a lot in my socials. I don't My social circles, I don't think that I ever thought it was a problem. But now looking back,
Yeah.
that's not okay to to eat like 4 tortilla chips and run 4 miles and have 6 drinks like in a day. Like that's not okay. Or not that it's not okay, but like that's just a very different reality from how I interact with my body now. So I
Yeah.
think that was the first kind of um 180 that I did. And then the other one was in 2020. So I was working as a nurse at a student health center. So I was working at a big university, and
Hmm.
my job was literally to give vaccines to students, to like check their medical records, make sure that they had the correct titers, make
Yeah.
sure that um, like everything fit all the boxes. But I still was very into the holistic Eastern medicine, but like
Hmm.
I still saw science, like medicine as like a religion kind of.
Hmm.
And because I worked for a major university, we were having students come from Asia prior to COVID happening. And so we were having to screen all of these students who were coming back from their winter break from Asia. And it just like something seemed fishy to me, like something seemed off. And I just like wasn't understanding it. I also was super burned out from living in New York City. So I
Yeah.
had already decided that I needed to move from New York City for my own like nervous system and like healing. And so I put my 2 weeks notice in before New York City shut down in March of 2020. But I kind of had like this dissonance again in that like I was taught certain things in nursing school and then what was like happening, and I'm not trying to be political, but just like this, what I was taught and then actually what was happening didn't make sense at all from what I was
Observing.
told. Yeah, and so it just made me question things. And at the time, I was married and I very much like wanted to have a family. And I am now like very aware of products and things that I put into my body. So I see my body as a temple. And like I said, like I used to drink all the time. And so I also used to work with kids who had cancer, and I was in my 20s, you know, having been out dancing all weekend, coming in to do chemo. Like the last thing on my mind was like, oh, I need to gown up in the chemo garb. So like I would be just like in my scrubs, like popping bags of chemo with regular gloves on. And so like I have definitely been exposed to chemo more than you are meant to. Like I've probably gotten a few rounds of chemo just by being in that environment and not like using protection for myself. And so anyway, in 2020, I was very concerned with what's going into my body. And so I was questioning the vaccine for my own body, and the feedback and like resistance that I got from friends and family, it really kind of like startled me. And then also just like what we were being told by the press, the media, was also like very just out of alignment with what I was feeling was right for me. And so that was like kind of like another 180. And then when I got divorced, that was a whole nother like unraveling and waking up to like who I truly am at a soul level and what I am capable of, and also how I was hiding in the relationship, how I was outsourcing my power to someone else, and how I wasn't like fully living life because I had so much fear. So those three things I would say are like big catalysts of growth and transformation in my life that have caused me to slow down or not be like where I thought I would be now at my age.
Well, and I think that's so interesting that you bring up like these three different specific areas, because sometimes we think, oh, it's one big thing that changes, right? And growth is like many layers, and like you peel off a layer and you do the work there. You peel off another layer, do the work there. Unfortunately, it just keeps going, right?
Yeah,
and also, fortunately, it's like the adventure.
I do feel like, right, like when you do like your first, at least for me, like the first one kind of like brought me to like here. And then I did it again and it brought me to here. So it's still bringing me to the same point, but like you're saying, it's like a different layer. Like it's the same exact point, but you're deeper now. Like, or you're able to see it from a different perspective, but you're like revisiting the same sort of like core wound, or you're revisiting the same sort of themes, but it's from a different level. So it's either like deeper or higher or whatever, so that you're getting something out of it. But that like all these 180 turns, right? Like you do 180 and then you go 180 again. Like it's bringing you to the same spot from where you started from, but it's a different.
Yeah. Or from like a different side, right? Because you were talking about getting reconnected to your body, to like that mind-body connection. And I mean, I've only known you for 3 years, but it's like there's many different steps that you've recently taken that just, it seems like it's deepening that connection for you, that understanding, and hence now you're offering this amazing tool or this practice for women to reconnect themselves to their bodies. Do you want to talk about maybe a little bit the most important pieces that you've learned over the past, I don't know, 10 years or even just from 2020? So the past 6 years on like the important parts that really resonate with you on building that mind-body connection and being true to yourself?
Yeah. Well, so, right, like I am in a feminine body, so I believe one of our gifts as women is our intuition. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that like our intuition and like those kind of that knowing that you know, but you don't know how you know, like
Yeah.
comes from the body. Like it
Mm-hmm.
comes from a place within you. It's not
Yeah.
coming from your mind. And so I believe that our gift as women is our intuition. But if we have lived our life in our mind or outside of our body, so for me, right, like I was drinking, I wasn't eating, I was like constantly going. I was constantly like just too busy to deal with my body. Like when I was working in the hospital giving chemo to kids, like I wouldn't pee for 11 hours. It was just too inconvenient to like go to the bathroom. I'm like, that's bonkers. And so that coming into your body, once you've been doing it and once you are like practiced in it, like it connects you to your deeper knowing, your deeper intuition. And that is like what I love. Like that's fun. Like that's where the joy, that's like where the magic all comes in. And like we haven't shared. I should have corrected you when you introduced me. I am a stand-up comedian,
Oh, I
Victoria.
forgot to mention that.
No, I mean, like I've done two
More
stand-up.
than two. More than
Yes,
two.
but like, but that to me is like laugh out loud funny because I failed public speaking in my all girls school. So I was in front of 8 girls that I knew all of them. Like, and I failed it because I literally couldn't speak. And like my intuition, my soul was like, when the opportunity presented itself and kept coming up, like
Mm-hmm.
my soul was like, oh my God, you have to do this. And like things that I said on stage, like came from my intuition. And like, so
Yeah.
that has been such a fun thing that I would have never done had I not been embodied or had I not learned how to connect to my body and then learn how to connect to my intuition. And so I think that I've also learned is that like, so the way the body like speaks is through emotions. And
Mm-hmm.
I was very good at not feeling my feelings and really good at taking on other people's emotions when they had nothing to do with me. I was really good at just like stuffing everything down and not feeling the feelings. And so actually coming into my body and like feeling my feelings, like at first was like really uncomfortable. One, because I wasn't good at it. So then two, because I had like 25 years worth of feelings that had never been felt. And I almost felt like there have been several times in my life where I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Like I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
am going mad. And I think it was a lot to do with the fact that one, our culture has told us like a set of rules and like if you do this, then X, Y, and Z. Like so I feel like I was sold a bag of lies. And then also for me, when I like actually did the breathwork or like when I started doing somatic movement, like I would be rageful. I would be angry
Mm-hmm.
beyond anything. Like it didn't make sense, the amount of anger that I was feeling in the moment and what was happening in my life. And I think that also made me feel like I must be crazy. But then I realized that, like, oh no, like that just was all there from 25 years of never feeling. And then once you feel it, then it goes away. And so that, I think that the more you do it, like the less gunk is in there. And like the more, like if you just never cleaned your bathtub, like it's going to be really dirty the first time you clean it. But if then you clean it like once a day, once a week, like it's gonna,
Right.
it's just gonna flow. I don't know if that answers your question. I forgot what your question was.
The question was just how, like, this mind body connection, like what are the important pieces? And I think you hit on that. Like,
The important
eat,
piece is that it's a practice, and you're
yeah,
going to be bad at it first.
right.
Like, and
Just like everything.
yeah, and it's a strength, it's a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you do that, the more agency, the more sovereignty, the more power that you have, because you're not going to be looking outside of yourself for someone to fix you. That's not saying that you don't get support. That's not saying that there's not times when you need things, but you're going to know what works for you. And so I think that would be the other thing, is that, like, I truly believe that our bodies are perfect. I think they're
Mm-hmm.
designed for your higher evolution. And if something's not working in your body, it's like I see symptoms as just like a conversation, like that your body's just
Right.
trying to get your attention. And so I think that your body has innate wisdom. I think you have healing property. I know you have healing properties. Like,
Yeah.
I have studied with Dr. Joe Dispenza and Dr. Kelly Brogan, and like this is like scientific facts. It's not just like me telling you my opinion. But that,
Yeah.
like, I also know that the body has this like higher wisdom, and so that whatever is coming up is because you can handle it, and it's coming up because it's like the perfect time for you to handle this now. And so in my own journey in reconnecting to my body, like my practices and like what my body was telling me and what I was healing within myself 10 years ago is like very superficial to what my body is telling me and
Mm-hmm.
I'm healing in the past 5 years. But it's also because if my body had been communicating with me things that it was like, these past 5 years, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. So that,
Right.
like, you have this like innate wisdom in your body, and that anything that's coming up is coming up to be witnessed, and that if it's coming up, it means that you can handle it. So that, like,
Mm.
whenever something comes up, I trust. And like what I mean by like come up, because maybe if you're like feeling, what are you talking about? Like, so I do a practice where I do breath work and I do Kundalini yoga and then I twerk. And I'm using twerking, which is moving your booty to like shake up, like you're like doing the snow globe thing, and you're shaking up all
Mm-hmm.
the junk in your hips, because that's where you hold emotions, that's where you hold all this stuff. And when I what I mean by when I say like things come up, so I'll be twerking to like beautiful chorus to some like very beautiful song, and I'll be twerking and I will feel rage, or I will feel like I need to
Mm.
cry. And it doesn't make sense, right? Like I'm alone in my living room listening to music and I will feel like I need to cry, or I will feel such anger that like it feels like icky, like it feels like
Right.
it's going, like it feels uncomfortable. But I now trust that like that is all perfect. It's all by design. And that's why I am twerking. I'm not twerking to get likes on Instagram. I'm twerking to um, move emotions, move energy, clear out all this stuff. And then the song is over and the emotion is over. Like it comes up and then it comes out. And so that's what I mean by like trusting whatever comes up. And that like sometimes I'm like cracking up. Sometimes it feels pleasurable. Like sometimes it feels like joyful. Sometimes it's just like neutral. It's just nothing. But that like
Right.
I don't have this fear of like, oh no, I can't handle this. But like when I first started connecting with my body, any sort of discomfort or any sort of emotion felt too much.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I heard when you were just describing it is like the judgment over the emotion that comes up isn't there, right? You're like, I'm shaking my butt and my hips, and I start feeling this, and maybe, I don't know, is this true? Is it because you're doing a practice? There is no human interaction going on. There isn't a story. It's just allowing the movement to bring up what needs to be felt. Does that have something to do with it, or is it just that through your practices it's allowed you to let go of some of that judgment around some of the emotions?
Well, it's interesting because I feel like judgment was like, I'm still very judgmental. I'm still working on that. But that, like, at first, I was judging myself for even wanting to twerk. I'm like, I had so much shame about twerking. I had so much shame about
Mm-hmm.
like moving my body in this way. And I'm like, when I was like feeling all this shame and judgment about twerking, even though I knew that I was doing it for like pure intentioned reasons, I was like picturing church women like in my like room, like judging me, like, good Catholic women, like, don't do this. And like, I haven't been to church in years. I like my community is not the Catholic women that like taught me
Mm-hmm.
in CCD. So like, why, who are these like nebulous people judging me? And like, so like I had to work through judgment, but then like also once I actually started to be able to move my booty and like it actually was like shaking and like moving, I was then judging my body for like looking a certain way. And so that like now when the emotion comes up, so I share all that to say is like I think I had a lot of alchemizing I needed to do with
Mm-hmm.
judgment of myself, of how I thought others saw me. And then I I think through that, like the movement helped me to not judge the emotions because I would just practice at feeling judgment and just like allowing the judgment to be there. I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. It goes back to your previous point where you said all of this is a practice. You start off not being good at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you just have to keep doing it again and again, getting a little better, a little better. And it's the same with whether it's judgment or feeling an emotion or whatever it is, until you start practicing doing those things. Like, how are you supposed to get better
Right.
with that? Right? There's a reason they say practice makes perfect.
Yeah. Well, practice, yeah. Practice, I think, just makes it like more familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting too in that like there will still be times where like I know my practice of twerking and how I do it is so helpful and like I will still resist it because it's still there's still parts of it's like being vulnerable and it's also like yeah I've been doing this for a few years now but for 25 years I was used to like stuffing things down and not feeling so like I
Yeah.
think it just takes time. But that like showing up even for a minute, I think is more important than not doing anything at all.
Right. Right. So, with all of this learning and this practice that you've like created for yourself, I know that you've built or are building a program for women to help them specifically with period pain, but also in general, I think with this feeling your feelings, feeling being embodied. Do you want to share about that?
Yeah. So yeah, this practice like is just from my work as being a nurse and then learning more about Ayurveda and Kundalini and yoga and just the 3 different layers of the body. So you have your physical body, but then you have your emotional body and your mental body. And so, right, like thoughts are the language of the brain and emotions are the language of the body. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're only addressing the physical aspect of, say, period pain, you're not addressing the mental or the emotional
Right.
aspect. And so you're never going to actually be period pain free and it doesn't have to just be period pain. It's any sort of men or like woman issues, like
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens in the womb. So like if you are in perimenopause or if you're like having endometriosis or you have cysts, like it doesn't have to just be period pain, but that
Right.
any sort of discomfort in your uterus, pain with sex, like all of it, if you're not addressing the 3 different layers, then you're still always going to be in that cycle of pain. And like I said before, like what I have come to know is that like you have everything you need within you. It's just like remembering that like,
Mm-hmm.
and then like taking that ownership into your own body, but that like you're gonna have to kind of like explore and you're gonna have to like make it happen. Like if no one's coming to save you, like you're gonna have to actually do something about it. And so my program is kind of bringing all of that together and
Right.
it addresses all 3 layers, but then we're using movement to connect to the emotional body and the twerking is the movement that we're doing and I just love it. I have so much fun and I like it is so much fun for me because I used to
Mm-hmm.
have like debilitating period pain. I used to be in bed for like the first 3 days of my bleed and it was bonkers. It was wild. And I just thought that was like just how life was going to be. Like I just like thought that
Mm-hmm.
that was who I am and like this is like the the luck of the draw. Like that's just like life and like it's actually not. And um so I just love teaching it to other women and it's also so incredible when you get a group of women doing this together, just the transformations and the energy and like the magic that it creates. Um, so I have that online as a course for people to do on their own. And then I also teach classes in person in my town where I live now, but I have moved quite a bit all over the country. And so I've been teaching this class all over the country. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of women were really upset when I moved. And so I'm now teaching my class online in my free school community. So that is a really fun place to try it out for yourself and just connect to your body.
Yeah, and we'll put that in the show notes for everybody if you want to join Abigail's community and participate in her weekly classes. And you do more than the twerk class, right? You are
Yeah.
going to do some dream and intuition work as well.
Yeah. Because like I said, like all of this coming into your body and feeling safe in your body, being like fully present and inhabiting your body is all just like a way to then get you more in tune with your higher self and your intuition. So that is another aspect that I love to work
Mhm.
with in helping women to discern what is their intuition and just strengthening that connection to their intuition and then using their dreams, using oracle cards or using other modalities to
Mhm.
like really feel connected to themselves and then again, right? Like then you don't need to be looking outside of yourself. You have everything that you need from within.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it. Oh, Abigail, you're building such cool stuff. Like and you're always evolving. I feel like integrating things that are happening in your life right now, and you learn something new, and it like weaves into what you're doing presently almost seamlessly. It's like I blink and you're like, oh, and now we're doing this too. I'm like, what?
Thank
I
you,
love it.
Victoria.
I love it. I love it. Abigail is magical, everybody. She really is. So before we close, is there anything you would like to share with the folks who are listening, watching, that maybe we didn't cover?
Just, girl, if I can do it, you can do it. That we are, I think, like, also what is so beautiful about podcasts and connecting with people on the interwebs and like on online platforms is that we all are really connected in such a beautiful way that we're not aware of, and that, like, I just believe in everyone's journey and their stories, like, wholeheartedly, and that's why I enjoy sharing kind of my story and where it's come from and where I am at now and the messy in between, because then I feel it can connect other people to their inner light, like their inner knowing, and just like wake something up inside of them that's like, please listen, so that then you don't have to have like the boulder of life smashing you down or flatten you out. You can just hear that like little inner voice, that like little inner knowing, and be like, oh, okay, if this crazy girl can twerk and like love it and like use it as a healing modality, then I certainly can do X, Y, or Z, or whatever it is, that like little thing that is exciting you. And I guess that, like, I believe in you. That's that's what I want people to know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is like we all are on our own journeys, finding our own way, and all of that is right. Exactly. It's happening in the order that it should be, even if it's feeling really hard in the moment.
Yeah, this too is perfect. And thank you.
Yeah, right. And thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much, Abigail. Thank you, everybody who joined live, who is listening or watching. If you like this show, please subscribe, rate, any of the things, send some comments, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. All right,
Thank you,
bye.
Victoria. Bye.